February is Heart Health Month. It's a month to raise awareness about heart disease and highlight ways to care for the heart. It's also a reminder of how to save the heart and save lives. Charlotte Holland, registered nurse with Ascension Seton, joins us this morning to talk about CPR basics. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Thanks for coming on. So talk about CPR. I've got a 2-year-old, and I know in his first year of life, we had a lot of scary moments, and we're glad that we were taught about how to do CPR.
Definitely. Infant CPR is one of those skills that I definitely recommend for all new parents. Especially with choking hazards, it's so common with infants that first year of life because they're, exploring the world, they're learning everything, they're putting everything in their mouth, and they often do choke on things. So it's important to know how to handle that situation if they start to choke. The first thing you do want to do is try and clear whatever object you can see in their mouth out. And if that's unable to be done and they become unresponsive, you would then begin infant CPR. The only important thing that I do like to point out, it's too much to teach in this small segment. It's important to take a class to learn all the skills, but there is one main difference between adult and infant CPR that's important, and that is that with infants, you never want to shake them to assess if they're responsive. With adults, we teach that, before you start CPR, you check to see if they're responding. With infants, you want to tap their foot. You never want to shake an infant because of shaken baby syndrome. Any kind of rattling to the brain can cause blindness, brain damage, or even death. So when you're assessing them to see if they're responsive, you definitely want to tap their foot and don't shake them. We do offer infant CPR classes through Ascension. If you go to our website, it's healthcare.ascension.org/classes. You can find some classes that we offer out in the community. Again, it's very important skill to have. Hopefully you'll never need it, but if you do need to utilize those skills, it's important to have taken a class so that you have something to recall when you get in that situation.
Yeah. Is it the same rhythm? There's that famous episode of The Office where they do the Bee Gees Staying Alive. That's the rhythm. Is it the same with infants?
It is. Again, it's a little bit different because on adults we do, you use your hands, and with infants their chest is smaller, so we teach a technique where you're using your fingers, and it is still a ratio of 30 compressions at that same beat. It's a little bit faster, but you want to do 30 compressions followed with 2 breaths.
Gotcha. And according to the statistics we have here, about 50 to 65% of children requiring CPR are less than a year old. Most of them are less than 6 months. So I feel like I identify with that. We needed to know that in his first year.
Definitely. Again, they're learning so much initially right after birth, and their lungs are filled with fluid, so they have to clear all that out. So it's very common for them to gag on those secretions and that fluid and sometimes kind of choke on it. Typically, very basic steps to clear that airway initially can resolve the situation, and it doesn't lead to actually having to do CPR, but there are occasions where it is important to know those skills so that you can do the CPR if you need to.
Yeah, definitely. It's great information, great skill to learn. Charlotte with Ascension Seton, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.